Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into something that's in pretty much every sugar-free thing you buy, sweeteners. So, are they the health hero we've been waiting for, or is there a hidden catch? Well, the truth is, it's a whole lot more complicated than you might think. Let's get into it. First up, to really get why this matters, we have to understand the stakes, and they are incredibly high. Right now, the world is in the middle of a massive health crisis. More than 800 million adults are living with diabetes across the globe. Just to put that in perspective, that number is 4 times what it was back in 1990. This isn't just a number on a slide, it's the driving force behind why our food is changing so fast.
And whenever there's a big problem, there's also a big business opportunity. The market for sugar substitutes is absolutely exploding. I mean, look at this. It's on track to nearly double by 2033. This has gone way beyond a niche health trend. It's a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry built on a single powerful idea, giving us all the sweetness we crave without the sugar.
And this is the reason for that gigantic shift. Public health experts have, for all intents and purposes, declared a war on sugar. It's been directly linked to all sorts of chronic diseases. And that declaration has sent us all on a quest, right? A quest for sweetness without the consequences. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this Explain. So here's the game plan. We're going to start with that global war on sugar. Then, we'll meet the alternatives that have stepped up to the plate. After that, we'll jump right into the great health debate, learn how to decode the labels on these products, and finally take a peek at the future of sweetness. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the global war on sugar. We know the problem is huge, but what are the actual forces pushing this massive change through our entire food system?
Well, it's really a battle being fought on 3 main fronts. First, you've got government stepping in, doing things like imposing sugar taxes to make sugary drinks more expensive. Then, you have big global health organizations like the WHO that are pushing for much stricter guidelines on sugar intake. And finally, the pressure is coming from us, from consumers, with huge trends like keto and intermittent fasting making 0-calorie a must-have on any label.
Okay, so with sugar clearly in the crosshairs, what are we all turning to instead? Let's move on to Section 2 and meet the alternatives. The world of sweeteners isn't just one thing. It really breaks down into a few key families. You have the artificial ones, created in a lab, like sucrose, and these can be insanely potent. We're talking 600 times sweeter than regular sugar. Then you have the natural, plant-derived options, like stevia or monk fruit. And the third group is called polyols, or sugar alcohols, think xylitol. What's interesting about them is their sweetness is much, much closer to actual sugar.
And this, right here, is their biggest selling point. It's their superpower. For millions of people who have to manage diabetes or are trying to control their weight, these substitutes offer that sweet taste without the calories and, crucially, without that dangerous spike in blood sugar. In a world swimming in sugar, they can be an incredibly valuable tool.
But are they a perfect no-strings-attached solution? Well, this brings us to the real heart of the issue. Section 3, the great health debate. This is where the science gets complicated and the headlines get really, really confusing.
And this is the central question, isn't it? The one we're all trying to figure out. Are these sweeteners a genuinely healthy choice that helps us fight back against obesity and diabetes? Or are we just swapping one set of problems for a whole new, hidden risk that we don't fully understand yet?
So here's how the debate basically breaks down. On one hand, the benefits are pretty clear, right? Fewer calories, better blood sugar control. We get that. But on the other hand, the concerns are starting to pile up. Some studies are suggesting that sweeteners might mess with the trillions of bacteria living in our gut and could even confuse the very signals our bodies use to process real sugar when we do eat it.
Let's really zero in on that gut health concern for a second. Think of your gut like this incredibly complex, finely tuned orchestra with trillions of bacteria all playing their part in perfect harmony. Some research suggests that certain artificial sweeteners might show up like a new musician who starts playing completely out of key, throwing off that delicate balance. And, ironically, for some people, this disruption has been linked to impaired glucose tolerance, which is the very problem these sweeteners are supposed to help solve.
So why is this debate still raging so fiercely? Well, this quote right here gets to the heart of it. The science is just not settled yet. For just about every study that raises a major concern, you can find another one that finds little to no effect. It's these conflicting results that fuel the fire and make it so incredibly hard for anyone to form a clear, final consensus. Now, this complexity isn't just in the science labs. It's also in the laws and regulations. To really understand the products on our shelves, we need to understand how they even got there in the first place. So let's move on to Section 4, decoding the labels. What's really fascinating here is the massive difference in philosophy between the US and Europe. In the US, the FDA often uses a system called Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS. It's a faster path to market. The EU, on the other hand, operates on something called the precautionary principle. It's way more cautious and demands a ton of pre-market approval. And this difference is exactly why a sweetener might be super common in America, but you can't find it anywhere in Europe.
Monk fruit is the perfect case study for this. For its concentrated extract to get approved in the EU, it has to go through this incredibly tough multi-step process. And right now, it's basically stuck. Now, here's the key part. It's not stuck because it was proven to be unsafe. It's stuck because the companies haven't provided enough safety data to clear the EU's super high bar. That is the precautionary principle in action.
So where is all of this going? The technology is evolving so quickly. Let's look ahead in our final section, the future of sweetness.
The next generation of sweeteners isn't just being picked from plants, it's being designed in biotech labs. A technology called precision fermentation is a total game changer. Imagine using microbes, like yeast, as tiny little factories. Scientists can program them to produce sweet compounds that are molecularly identical to rare sugars found in nature. The ultimate goal here? To create something that tastes and feels exactly like sugar, but with absolutely none of the metabolic downside.
Okay, so after all of that, what are the big takeaways? What should you remember? First, sweeteners are a tool. They are not a magic bullet that's going to solve all our health problems. Second, their effects can be really different depending on the type of sweetener and, frankly, on the person. Your own unique gut microbiome plays a huge role. And finally, remember that regulation is complicated, and it's different all over the world, so it always pays to be a conscious consumer and read those labels.
And that leaves us with one last pretty big question to chew on. In this whole quest to live healthier lives, is the real goal to find the perfect one-to-one replacement for sugar? Or is the bigger challenge actually to retrain our own taste buds to want less sweetness in the first place? Something to think about.